to talk about some basic information. So as I said, my name is Sujit Bhatt. I teach the 12:40 p.m. section of this course and the 3 p.m. section. So the 12:40 p.m. has a different Zoom ID. If you want to go to that section, the Zoom ID for that class is posted on Canvas. Okay. So this is the 3 p.m. section. I plan to post a recording of this lecture every Monday, Wednesday, Friday by the end of the day. And in theory, my plan is to send you the lecture notes 24 hours ahead of time, as soon as I get them done. So the textbook we're using in this class is Stewart's Essential Calculus, 2nd edition. The cover looks like that. It comes bundled with Webassign, so I'll talk about Webassign in a second. So we use Webassign in this course. And if you've purchased access to Webassign, there's a PDF of the textbook on Webassign that you can access. I don't think you can download it, but there's a PDF of the textbook on Webassign, just FYI, in case you're ever unable to get to your textbook. There is a student solution manual, and I always give this speech every semester. I always want to warn people about how you use solutions and how you use the student solution manual. So in particular, the way I would suggest you use a solutions manual is have it sitting there but closed, and you're working on your homework. If you get stuck, put your homework away. Open up the solutions manual. Read and understand what they're doing. Don't write down anything on your homework that you're working on. Just read and understand what they're doing. And you might make some notes in there or whatever. Put your solutions manual away so that you can't see it. And then try to reproduce your work. The key here is to study what you've seen and reproduce it, but never copy it. If we copy what we've seen in the solutions manual, then we haven't learned how to do the problem. We've maybe worked on our penmanship, but the math solving skills, we've robbed ourselves of. The learning in math is in the struggle of trying to figure out how to do the problem. So the struggle is very important, that part in math. I just wanted to tell you about, there's a optional 1-credit pass-fail class called the Calculus 1 Workgroup. This is so it's pass-fail, it's 1 credit. Your grade, your pass or fail is just determined purely by participation. There's no homework. And basically the work group is a place where you can go and they'll have more math problems for you to do, more activities to kind of emphasize the concepts we've studied. And it's just an optional thing, in case you feel like, I could use a little more support. I could use a little more practice. The Calc 1 work group is definitely an opportunity for that. And the problems they do are a little harder than usual. And that's also good, for learning. The more we can challenge ourselves, the better that is ultimately in the long run. So because this is a remote synchronous course, our main source of information, our central meeting point, will really be the Canvas page. So canvas.colorado.edu will be the main source for our class resources and information. So you'll find the slides there. You'll find information about your grade there. You'll find homework solutions and exam solutions. You'll find announcements and information about office hours and Zoom locations for everything. And we'll go to the website here in a second, and I'll just run through it real quick just to show you. Just a reminder that obviously all assessments will be remote on Zoom, and in general in this class, calculators, books, that kind of stuff are not allowed for the quizzes or exams. As I mentioned, our office hours, all that information is posted on Zoom along with, so there are 2 instructors for this course. I am one of the instructors. The other instructor is Dr. Tara Issa. They teach a class at, I think it's 10:40 in the morning. So if you want to go to that class, the link, again, is posted on Canvas, okay? And then we have 4 teaching assistants and 1 learning assistant, and all of them have office hours, and all of their information can be found on Zoom. For me specifically, my office hours are on just Monday and Wednesday in between when I teach class. So my 12:40 class ends at 1:30, so then I start my office hour from 1:35 to 2:50. And then the 3 p.m. class starts. So the Zoom ID for my office hour is on Canvas. There's also this table of office hours posted on Canvas where you can see, that we have a bunch of office hours available throughout the week and on Sunday. And this would be your main office hours for, homework questions and whatnot. If you have any, if you want to make an appointment with me to talk about something else, certainly just shoot me an email and we can always figure something out. With Zoom now, there's a lot of flexibility, So this same table is posted on the course website along with the Zoom links. So one of the things I want to talk about was how you're going to get your grade in this class. So the syllabus is set up so that there are a total of 600 points, and there are essentially 5 categories. The first category is written homework. And I will show you in a second, after we go through this slide, we'll take a look at the schedule and I'll show you, where the written homeworks are, what the written homeworks are, and when they're due and all that kind of stuff. So your first written homework isn't due until a week from Tuesday. So not next Tuesday, but a week from then. So today's the 15th, so 16, 17, 18, 19 plus 7, the 26th would be your first written homework. I'll show you on the schedule in a second. So the way we do it is each individual homework is worth 20 points, and we drop your lowest 2 scores are dropped. And then what we do is we get all the homework points you've earned divided by all the total possible homework points, and we multiply that ratio by 50. So at the end, your homework score becomes a score out of 50 points. And the written homework is due on Tuesday, 1 a.m. by 1 a.m. on Gradescope. Of course, I don't want you, one of the things about this class is to learn good study habits, right? So I don't want you starting the homework the night before, right? So part of college is, especially part of Calc 1, it's learning Calc 1, but it's really getting you ready for Calc 2 and Calc 3. Getting you to have good study habits that'll take you through the 4 years of college or 6 years of your master's degree or 11 years of your PhD program. So we want you to learn those good study habits right now. And certainly starting assignments early would be one of the most basic good study habits you can do. Remember that at this level, everybody is smart. This is now about working really hard. That's where we're at right now, just about grinding it out and working super hard and just being the best we can be. So the written homework eventually is worth 50 points. There's also an online homework called Webassign. So this is typically assigned, you'll have a Webassign due every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The first one will be due a week from today, okay? So your first Webassign is due next Friday. I'll show you on the calendar in a second. So the idea behind Webassign is that math is a discipline. Think about what the word discipline means. It's about practicing a little bit every day. Learning math is just like learning to speak a foreign language or learning learning how to play a musical instrument. If you've learned how to play a musical instrument, it's just hours and hours of practice, right? And math is basically no different. So what we want to do is we want to make you do a little bit of math regularly. If we can't make you do it every day, here Webassign hopefully will make you do a little bit of math every other day, okay? So I'll talk about Webassign in a second here. So for Webassign, you have to purchase access. You can purchase access bundled with your textbook. And depending on whether you're going to take Calc 2 and Calc 3 in applied math, they use Webassign in Calc 2 and in Calc 3 as well. So it might be more economical to buy the bundled package for the all 3 courses, or just I don't know, it depends on what your plan is. So I'll let you research that. To be totally honest with you, when I studied calculus, there wasn't even the internet. If you were driving in your car, you wanted to make a phone call, you had to pull over and get to a payphone. So I'll let you figure out the Webassign and all that. There are some links on Canvas that'll show you where you can find some information. So there are 39 total online homeworks. For each Webassign, you have 100 submissions. So in theory, you should be able to get, the majority of Webassign points. And at the end, we drop your 3 lowest scores. Each Webassign is worth 10 points. At the end, we drop your 3 lowest scores, and we scale your Webassign score as a score out of 50 points. Okay, so number of Webassign points earned divided by total number of possible Webassign points times 50. So the other component is quizzes. So 7 times in the semester, you will have a quiz in your Tuesday recitation that's administered by your teaching assistant. So I hope you've all signed up for a recitation. On Tuesday, you'll go to recitation and meet your TA. Okay, so these quizzes can be announced, but they can also be unannounced. Your TA will talk to you more about that. So each quiz is worth 10 points. We drop the lowest 2, and then we take that score out of 50 points as the quiz score. So that's written homework, online homework, and quizzes. Those are kind of what you might encounter on a weekly basis. Then 3 times during the semester, we will have a midterm. So we have a midterm on Wednesdays. They're all on Wednesdays. The first one is February 10th. Then we have one March 10th. And the third one is April 7th from 7:30 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. And so I'm telling you this information right now so that you can reserve that block of time, because I know you're so busy running around outside with all the activities, right? Anyway, so 7:30, 9 p.m. on those 3 Wednesdays, February 10th, March 10th, April 7th, please block off that time. You've got something planned for that time, mainly the Calc 1 midterm. That'll be on Zoom. Calculators, electronic devices, books, blah, blah, not allowed. I think I mentioned that before. Each midterm is worth 100 points. So all 3 midterms together is 300 points. So if we count, the written homework's 50, the online homework's 50, the quizzes are 50, the 3 midterms are a total of 300. So that's 450 points. So the final assessment is a final exam. So there's a cumulative final exam on May 5th from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we'll talk about the exam and we'll talk about the final exam as we get closer to it. These are not things that you should worry about, but I just want you to clear that time in your schedule. There's more details about all of this, and the full syllabus is posted on Canvas. And, let's actually go to the Canvas page here and take a look. So I did want to mention with regards to curving, we don't curve any individual test, but we do have a curve at the very end of the semester. So what we do is, I wait for all the scores to come in, and then at the very end, there'll be a final curve on the final course grade. But any one individual homework or test or whatever is not going to be, curved. It's too early at the beginning of the semester. And we'll talk about how you can determine your standings. Everything is done here sort of relative to the average, and we'll talk about that as we get into it a little more. So let me show you the schedule first. So here's the schedule. And so I just want to show you kind of how to read it and what we've got coming up. So the schedule is organized, first of all, so that it goes horizontally. Okay, so everything kind of goes horizontally. Now this first column here, this indicates what we will cover every day of class. So this is a coordinated class, so all 3 sections need to follow this schedule. So in theory, you can look at this schedule and know at any time what our class is up to. So according to the schedule, today, January 15th, we should be talking about section 1.1. So I'm not doing that at all. I'm talking about the syllabus right now. And I'm probably going to do a little bit of review, but I swear I'll get to 1.1 on Wednesday, and I'll get that done. So this is the schedule we'll follow, and this will keep you coordinated. This way you'll know what we're talking about at any time. So let me talk about the other parts of this schedule. So this middle column here, this is all about Webassign. So this middle column, this is all the information about Webassign. So to be perfectly honest with you, the only information you need to know is right here. For now, you can ignore this stuff, and I'll come back to this in a second, but you can ignore this stuff for now. Really, the main thing you need to worry about is, what are the due dates for Webassign, and you can find that right here. Okay, so you can see that the first Webassign will be due on January 22nd. And the second Webassign is due January 25th. And it's due by 5 p.m. of that due date. Okay. And so the way Webassign works is I uploaded the roster yesterday. So when you log into Webassign, I'll show you where to find the link. You should be able to access the Webassign course right now. If you added this class late last night or early this morning, you may not be able to access Webassign. And in that case, you should send me an email, and I'll show you where my email is in 1 second. So yeah, so basically on, just for a typical week for you, is, you come to class, maybe go to an office hour, do the Webassign, make sure it's done by 5 p.m. You're working on a written homework. Maybe you're going to office hours, getting help with that. The written homework gets uploaded by midnight or Tuesday, 1 a.m., so that's kind of a typical thing. So here, let me tell you now what these problems are all about. So these problems here. So the way Webassign works, and I'll show you in a second, the way Webassign works is it takes a problem from the textbook and it uses that to generate a new problem. It takes the problem from the textbook and just changes the numbers. So the basic problem is the same, but it's not exactly the same, from the person that's sitting next to you working on that Webassign. So these problems here are the problems in the book that the Webassign is based on. Why have I given you this information? The test that you take is a test involving pencil and paper. Webassign, you sit at a computer and type in the answers. So doing Webassign, which you should do for the points, but doing Webassign on a computer doesn't help you prepare for the exam. So my suggestion to you would be to first do these problems here, which the Webassign, is based on. Do these problems from the book, with pencil and paper. Don't turn them in. We don't want you to turn them in. Do these problems with pencil and paper, and then do them on Webassign. Doing them with pencil and paper will help you prepare for the exam, since the exam that you're taking is a pencil and paper exam. If I'm running a marathon, I don't train for a sprint. You know what I'm saying? So Webassign, doing it online will help you get the points and will make you have math in your life every other day. But if you want to learn it the best, you should also do these problems with pencil and paper. The only advice I'm ever going to give you is how to learn this material the best. And that would be the best thing here so that you can get your money's worth, and just learn it the best. It's important to have a strong foundation in Calc 1 so that Calc 2 and Calc 3 goes well. We can't build a good house if we don't have a solid foundation. The house will fall down. So here we need that good foundation. So yeah, the middle column is Webassign. And as I said, the only thing you really need to worry about are the due dates. And make sure you've done the Webassign by the due date by 5 p.m. Of course, they're assigned, almost 48 hours before. So you have plenty of time to get them done ahead of time. So now the third column here, this is our written homework. So this is the written homework that's due by Tuesday on Gradescope before recitation, Tuesday morning by 1 a.m. So how does the schedule work? So all of these problems right here in this box, all of these problems consist of homework set number 1. And these problems are due by 1 a.m. January 26th on Gradescope. This set of problems here in this box, all of these problems, that would consist of homework set number 2, and that's due at 1 a.m. February 2nd. So on and so forth. I'll show you where the submission link is, everything you can access from Canvas. There are actually 15 homeworks. The 15th homework is not collected because it's too close to the last day of school, and between the final and grade, trying to grade the homeworks, it wouldn't happen. Of course, I'll post the solutions, and it's recommended that you do these problems for preparing for the final and that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about that as we get closer to it. So the schedule is laid out sort of horizontally in the sense of what topics we're covering. And then the middle column tells you the Webassign due dates. And the third column here tells you the written homework assignments, what the problems are. And so these are problems from the book, section 1.1, problems 1, 9, blah, blah, blah. And when they're due. Okay, so this schedule is going to be extremely important to all of us, because this is our this is where I go to get, to see what's going on, to see what's happening that day, to see what homeworks are due, blah, blah, blah. Let me point out right here, we talked about this, but here are the exams you can see. So our first exam, Wednesday, February 10th, from 7:30 to 9 p.m. The second exam, as you can see, is, sorry, February, did I say February or March? The second exam here is March 10th. And our third exam down here is April 7th. April 7th right here. And then our final exam is May 5th, 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So note the time difference. So that's the schedule. As I said, this will be very important in terms of, staying coordinated and knowing what's due when. And so and remember, these problems here are just FYI. These are for your benefit if you want to do extra practice. So let me switch over to Webassign real quick, show you a little bit about what that looks like, and how it's dependent on the textbook. And let me show you Canvas real quick, and then let's see if we can do some math here. So here's kind of a typical Webassign window that you might see. It's got the score area. So here, I probably shouldn't show you this. These are all the answers, because my Webassign is all the answers. Don't look, everybody. Close your eyes, please. So here's what I want you to focus on. I'm giving you free answers, y'all. So let me fix that box, actually. Here's what I want you to focus on. So right here, this S stands for Stewart Essential Calculus. The 2 stands for the second edition. So that's all the book information. And then right here where it says 1.1, we're getting the problem from section 1.1, and it's problem 19. So this problem in Webassign is based on problem 19 from the textbook. In the textbook, they probably won't have a 5 and a 4. They'll have some other numbers there. So doing the Webassign in this way on the computer is great for getting the points, but we don't take the exam this way. We take the exam with pencil and paper. So that's my point about doing the problems for practice. So if you look here, you'll see, not by coincidence, that exactly 19 is one of the assigned problems in Webassign, just like we saw there. Here's that first problem that was assigned in the Webassign. It's 19, because it's based on this problem, and it's here for your reference for practice, okay? Let me show you the Canvas page, which I have up somewhere. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, here it is. So let me show you the Canvas page. Here we go. Okay, so this is the Canvas page. When you log into Canvas, this is what you'll see. So there are buttons right here on the side. Whoops, sorry, try that again. There are buttons right here, syllabus, COVID-19, office hours, homework. So if you click on office hours, it'll show you that table I was showing you. And then here are all the links for the office hours. Okay. But yeah, I've kind of tried to make it redundant. So there are also these tabs down here. So you should be able to get to everything in 2 different ways. So for homework, to see where the homework submission, you can go to the homework page and it says all written homework to be submitted on Gradescope. You can click on this. The homeworks, you submit them in the assignments portion. So if you look here on the left where it says assignments, you can also just click on assignments. So if you're to click on homework 1, it should show me a Gradescope thing here. And the homework isn't available for upload yet, so it's acting weird right here. So actually, I prefer when I come into Canvas, if I want to go to Gradescope, sometimes I'll just click right down here where it says Gradescope. Sometimes to me, that's the quickest way right here. You can just click on that. That'll take you to Gradescope. Let me show you, here's where you find the Webassign. There's the Webassign tab right here. So here's the Webassign tab, and this will take you to the Webassign portal to actually do Webassign. And the other link is information for purchasing Webassign. You can also buy Webassign from inside Webassign, and you have a 2-week grace period from when I uploaded. So from when I uploaded your roster to Webassign yesterday, you should have a 2-week grace period of access. And then after the 2 weeks, it's going to ask you, for like a code that you get from paying for access. So I'll let you look at the website. The information's all here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Oh, right here is all the information for the lecture. So right when you come into the website, if you just scroll down, one of the tabs is called Zoom links, and here are all your Zoom links for the lectures. My 12:40 p.m., as I mentioned, has a different Zoom link, so use this link if you want to come to my 12:40 p.m. The 3 p.m. lecture, as I mentioned, I will post a recording of the 3 p.m. lecture at the end of business every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you can't make it to class at all, you can watch it, on demand whenever. Here are the links for the Tuesday recitations. We have some recitations that meet at the same time, so make sure you get to the right one. And I've listed the actual section numbers here. And these are the links. And these are our TAs, Alex, Kyle, Arvind, and Ethan. I guess I forgot to mention it when I was showing you the table of office hours. And then here's the link to the work group for those of you that are in the work group. And under this lectures tab, you can find links to Dr. Issa's page or links to my page. So if you click on the bot lecture page, I'll post the videos here, and at this link, I'll post the slides. I haven't uploaded the slides for today. Usually what happens is right in the middle of the lecture, I'll find a mistake. So I wanted to find the mistake first and just upload the slides once. So I'll upload the slides, after business today. So let's see. That's pretty much everything. The only other thing I would say for here is to check out all files would be the one tab that's really good. This is where ultimately, if there's anything I upload to the, I don't even know what this is. If there's anything, oh, I see. If there's anything I upload to the website, any files, they get uploaded here first. So this would be your source to where the files are being uploaded. Okay, so I'll let you look at the Canvas page, but that's where, there's gonna be a lot of information there. All right, so one other thing, let me just show you the syllabus really quickly, and then maybe we can do some math. I don't know, there's not much time. So here's the syllabus, which I emailed you, and I'll let you read it. It's got all of these policies we talked about listed and some other information here. And then there's the calendar is right with the syllabus. You can find it in many places on Canvas. It's also in the syllabus. And then some other more general statements, and then some COVID-19 related safety stuff. So anyway, that's all of that. And yeah, here I should have said something here. So our TAs, as I mentioned, are Arvind, Ethan, Alex, and Kyle. And we have a learning assistant named Taylor, and they all have office hours. So basically, on a weekly basis, you're going to lecture, you're working on Webassign, you're working on your written homework, you're uploading it before Tuesday morning, your written homework, that's kind of your weekly schedule in this class. And then every about 4 weeks, we'll have a midterm, so that's kind of the day-to-day thing, and we'll use this schedule. So how are we doing? Any questions, comments, anything like that? How are y'all doing? So I want to do a little bit of review here. In Calc 1, typically the mistakes I see aren't with the Calc 1. They're with the algebra and the foundational stuff, And when we're taking a test, when we're under a stressful situation, the first thing that we tend to forget are the foundational basic stuff. And so even though the basic stuff is easy, we have to learn it really well so that when we're under stress, we don't forget, you know. So here we have two expressions that we want to simplify. And this is basically a problem about properties of exponents. And, you know, students, this is one of these little details that students tend to forget. So I want to review your basic properties of exponents. And these should be familiar to you. So x is a variable and n is a number here. And we're doing x raised to the n times x raised to the n. So here, when the base is the same, you can add the exponents, which is what we've done here. So the question is always, when do you add the exponents and when do you multiply the exponents? When you have x to the n, that whole thing raised to m, that's when we multiply the exponents. You know, in this scenario here, you can think that, oh, I have n copies of x and I have m copies of x. For a total, if you count how many do I have m plus n, you know. And here, we're multiplying x to the n to itself m times. And that's why this is x raised to the n times m, okay? X to the -1 is just defined to be the reciprocal. So if you say x to the -1, where x is not 0, of course, we define that to be 1 over x. And we can write fractions, you know, if they have the same base. So here what's important is that these are both x. So if the same base, then x to the n divided by x to the m can be written as x to the n minus m. And the way to think about it is I have n copies on top, m copies on the bottom, and I'm canceling all the common terms, and we're just looking for how many are left over. Here, n minus m could be a positive number or a negative number, or could equal 0. The other, you know, rule here is for when you have a product. So now we have two different bases. So that's what I want you to notice. Here I had x times x, you know, the base was always x here. Now I have an x and a y. So the quantity xy raised to the n is equal to x to the n times y to the n. So on the left-hand side, what you should notice is we're multiplying first, then exponentiating. On the right-hand side, we're exponentiating first, then we're multiplying. Okay, so from the left-hand side and the right-hand side, the orders of operation are different, and you should, you know, think about how this is different from this, okay? And the equation, of course, tells us that they're equal, but they are different orders of operations. And then we have a similar thing, but with division. So here, this is a quotient raised to the n power. So here we do the division first, then the exponentiation is equal to x to the n over y to the n. So here we exponentiate first, x and y, we raise those to the nth power, then we divide them. And so there's a difference here, you know, in the order of operation. All right, so let's use these properties to simplify this messy expression right here. So each of these expressions is what's called a multivariate expression, in that it involves more than one variable. Multi and variate, multiple variable. So Calc 1 is known as univariate calculus. It's calculus in only one variable. Okay, so Calc 3 is basically Calc 1 all over again, but in 3 variables. We add one more variable, we add the z variable. Okay, so here, I'm gonna do, this is asking us to do a product. You know, the most important thing for me to notice is this is a product. And so I'm gonna multiply the numerators and I'm gonna multiply the denominators. And then I'm gonna use these properties up here to simplify everything. So here, I multiply the numerator and denominator and I use the commutativity. So what does that mean? It means the order, and when you do a multiplication, a times b is the same as b times a. So here I'm able to rearrange and put all the common terms together. So I put everything that's base A, I put together. Everything that was base B, I put together. You know, and I can do that because A times B is the same as B times A. You can reorganize them. And in the denominator, again, I did the same thing. I collected all the terms that are the same base and grouped them together. And now I'm going to use this formula right here to simplify these. So here, when the base is the same, I can add the exponents. So a squared times a squared is going to be a to the 2 plus 2. Remember, b here is being raised to the first power. So b times b, that's going to be to the 1 plus 1. And here, b squared times b to the 4th, that's going to be b to the 2 plus 4. You see right here, using this rule. So now I'm just doing the math in the exponents, you know, doing all these little sums. And so here's what I get. Technically speaking, we're done. We've done the multiplication that they asked us to. But because we're incredibly nice people, we're going to simplify this. And that's just the way we are. We like to simplify stuff. Okay? So here now I'm looking for common terms in the numerator and denominator to cancel. So the first thing is, you know, 20 divided by 2, that's 10. So I can cancel there. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to move. So, you know, I noticed there's a to the 4th upstairs and an a cubed downstairs. So I want to use basically this property here to simplify a to the 4th over a cubed. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the a cubed up, and its exponent will be negative, and I'm going to subtract it. So here I have, you know, 20 divided by 2 is 10. That, oh, I have a typo. See, I told you. I found a typo. Do we all see it, folks? Do you see the typo? So right here, I moved the a cubed up, right? But I still have it written down here. Do you see this? Should not be there. Do you agree, everybody? Because it's already right here. Yay, I found the typo. I'll fix this and post the slides now after class. So yeah, this shouldn't be here, folks. My bad. Okay, so actually, let me use some trickery here. And I'll go like this. Be gone. Yeah. All right, so that looks better. And so now I do the same with the b squared. This b squared that was up here, I brought it downstairs. And I'm bringing, you know, I'm either bringing the smaller exponent down or the smaller exponent up, because that way when you simplify the exponents, I don't have any negative exponents. So my final answer here, let me make this thing disappear again. My final answer here is going to look like 10a over b to the 4th. So I guess, let's see, what time is it? All right, so I got like 5 minutes. Let me see how far I can get. I got 10 minutes. Okay, great. So for this next one, you know, it's really important for me to take a minute and really think about and see what I'm looking at. And so for me, what I see is a quotient, first and foremost inside, being exponentiated. And so of course, I'm thinking of this rule right here, which is the rule for a quotient being exponentiated. And you know, this is the part I talk about, your fundamentals have to be rock solid. I'm not sitting around going, how does that rule go? I have it at my fingertips. You know, I've basically, from using it so many times, it's essentially memorized. And that's the best way to learn something, just to practice it so many times that it just becomes part of you, just becomes part of your brain, you know? So here, the first thing I'm doing using the rule is putting the exponent on the numerator term and the denominator term. So here I have x to the 6 raised to the minus 1/2. In the denominator, this entire product, 16y to the 4th, is raised to the exponent minus 1/2. And in the denominator now, I want to use, you know, this rule here with the x times y. So now I want to use this rule for the denominator, where I'm going to take that minus 1/2 and put it on each term there in the product of the denominator. So you see now here, I've used this rule right here in the denominator. So I have the minus 1/2, I put it on the 16, the minus 1/2, I put it on the 4. And what the heck, did I make another typo? So I don't know. I think that's a typo. So hold on, let me see what's going on. Which y, Lily? So I don't know. Let's see. This -1/2. So I think there should be a minus here. This is the sadness. That's my life. Yes, I think there should be a minus. So I think Lily is correct. I think there should be a minus. There should be a -2, and this should go upstairs. Oy vey. Fridays, right? Yeah. So found 2 typos. So this answer that y squared should be upstairs. Yeah. That y to the -4th right at the beginning, I could have put up for sure. You know, certainly there's many ways to do the problem. And for sure, right here at the beginning, I could have put the y -4 upstairs. Absolutely. You know, if it's mathematically valid, then certainly you can do it. And that would probably in this situation be a smarter thing to do. So careful, folks. I messed up already. Right here, when I multiply -1/2 to 4, that should be a -4/2. You know, I mean, I think this proves that I'm human, which I thought I was like from the future and stuff made out of machines, but apparently not, just regular. So yeah, practice makes perfect. You know, the first time I do a problem, I assume I've made a mistake. That's just the way it's not because I have low self-esteem, but it's just my workflow. I do a problem, I go back and I look for my mistakes. That's the hardest thing to do, folks, is to find your own mistakes. So part of what you're doing when you're doing a problem, when you're doing homework, you're doing the problem and you're going back and looking for your mistakes. Learning, it's not that we never make mistakes. We make mistakes, but we learn from our mistakes and then we, you know, look out for those mistakes. That's the thing. I know there are certain kinds of mistakes I make, and so now I know to look out for those. So I will correct both of these typos and post those on the website this afternoon. Okay, so maybe I have time for one more and then I'm gonna let you go. So here, this is polynomial multiplication. And again, these things aren't difficult, but these are the little places where little mistakes can happen. And then once you make one little mistake, it can spiral, okay? So here we're asked to express the following. There's 3 different problems here. I'll probably just get through the first one. Express the following as a polynomial. We want to FOIL it out and do the multiplication, okay? So here for this first one, and you know, undoubtedly you've seen this in a pre-calculus class. I just want to review everything and just kind of do a little refresher. So typically the way we do is there's a foiling shortcut, but the foiling shortcut, the theory that that's based on is using the so April asked a question, but I'm gonna have to get back to that one, I guess. So here, the foiling formula is based on the distributive property. So basically, at the end of the day, all you have to do is make sure each of these terms is multiplied by each of these terms. So I think what I did here was I took 2x and multiplied here to each of these terms. And then after that, I took -7y and multiplied to each of these terms. And so you can see right here, when I do 2x times 2x, I get 2x squared. That's this first multiplication right here. And then when I do 2x times 7y, I get 7y times 2x. And that's that second multiplication right here. And then here, there's a minus sign here. You see I'm doing minus 7y times 2x. And that appears right here. And then finally, minus 7y times plus 7y. I have minus 7y squared, which is right here. That's a minus sign right there. Let me get. That's a minus sign right there. So here I have, that comes from this multiplication, minus 7y times 7y. And so you have to take a little bit of time and see the pieces moving, right? So this 2x, you know, 2x to 2x, 2x to 7y, and then this minus 7y to 2x minus 7y to 7y. You can see those terms are right here, and the terms at the beginning, those are right here. And then we're using those properties we talked about. Then we're 2x squared, we're putting the square on each term. 2 squared is 4, x squared is x squared. 7 times 2 is 14, y times x is xy. Here, 7 times negative 2 is negative 14xy. Here, the middle terms will cancel out. Here, minus, oh my God, minus 7y squared, you get minus 49. Oh my God. Isn't this a typo? The answer is right here at the end. I figured it. I fixed it. Jeez. Fridays. I'm telling you. Okay. Yeah. So once I simplify it, and here, this final answer is correct. This plus sign is wrong. All right, y'all. These typos are really making me mad. All right, we got 2 minutes, so I think I'm going to stop here. There's no point starting another problem.